Well, just behind me is the Roman town of Letocetum, which stands on Watling Street, which ran between Richborough, Roman forts, and Dover, joining up and then heading up through London and then continuing up into the Midlands, and then finally finishing up at Wroxceter, Letocetum, just on the edge of the Severn. The first evidence we have of Roman occupation is an early fort dating to the middle of the 1st century, and this was replaced by a later fort which ran into the 2nd century and is Hadrianic. After that, the town developed in its own right along Watling Street. The Roman town of Wall here formed an important staging post on Watling Street as it headed south and north. Behind me I'm standing in the Mancio building, which was a sort of hostel for official travellers, state officials to get new horses, rest up, take a bath. The Mancio survived for quite a number of years before being burned down. The town straggled out for a few miles on each side of Watling Street. It would have been quite a sight for an approaching traveller heading up on the road, eventually becoming smaller and more defended as the state of Roman Britain declined. The cursus publicus was the messenger service used by officials to bring information across the empire. Just behind me is the courtyard of the Mancio, which would have been quite a sight. Beautiful gardens, you would have stepped into it. There would have been a second floor above this with a balcony so you could look down, and very much a peaceful place to stay if you'd been on Watling Street all day and you were tired and dusty. You visited the bathhouse further down the hill, got yourself nice and clean, had a nice meal and relaxed in the gardens, especially on a summer day. The lower rooms would have provided stabling and the upper rooms would have provided accommodation for those on the road travelling in an official capacity. The main road between the Mancio and the bathhouse would have been a hive of activity during the day, with travellers passing through, traders offering their wares, sometimes from all over the empire. On the southern slope of the Mancio you can see small cubicles have been provided into the wall. These were the shops that the stall holders would have used to store their goods at night. They would have had a shuttered front. Excavation of the town bathhouse shows it was built in the 2nd century and continued into the 3rd, and shows 7 phases of rebuilding before going out of use in the late 3rd century. To the right was a large exercise hall. And now below ground level, within the hypercost, the central heating system that would have kept the bathhouse warm here at Wall. You can see these holes behind me. Hot air would have run through there and under the raised floor held up by pili tile stacks, and then would have fed up the wall and out of the ceiling. So, and lovely warm centrally heated building. Even in the depths of winter this would have been quite a place, permanently fed by burning wood, probably by slaves. The Roman bather would have gone through a succession of rooms, starting in the frigidarium, the cold room, through to the tepidarium and finally into the coldarium, the hot room. They would have worked up a sweat and then covered themselves with olive oil, and then used a stridule, a small curved device to scrape off the grime and the olive oil, and then used one of the plunge pools to wash themselves off in. The bathhouses were very social affairs, and gossip would have travelled up Watling Street, as well as business and gambling would have been done within its walls. Thanks for watching to the end, and if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to help me create more content. Thank you.